Charlie Goldsmith. Charlie, you're first.
Zac, you've spoken about Burrow's strengths all season. Is there one specific area that you think it's most important for a quarterback in today's NFL, one strength they need to have?
Mental toughness, because you're going to face a lot of adversity, a lot of difficult moments. It's easy when you're at practice and throwing 7-on-7 and preseason games and that kind of stuff. But when the season really matters, your mental toughness is going to be challenged. You got to be thorough with your process. You got to be consistent with your process. And I think those are areas where Joe really excels.
Kelsey Conway, go ahead.
Hey, Zac, I just wanted to ask for an update on CJ Uzomah. Obviously, it was well documented, him taking the brace off on Monday night. But can you give us an update on CJ, what you expect from him this week, and just how you felt about the team traveling out here and getting started practice today?
Yeah, I'm optimistic about CJ's process, the progress that he's made. And so, again, we got 3 more days of work to see where he's at. And he won't practice today, but he'll likely get in some work tomorrow. So, again, optimistic with where he's at. Team has handled it really well. We've tried to keep our scheduling as consistent as possible. And, so we're midway through our first day here. And our guys have handled it really well.
Next up is Jackson Thompson. Jackson.
How's it going, Coach?
Doing great.
Good. I'm sports health for Insider, and they say locker room culture is really important to get a team to a championship. But a lot of NFL dietitians say something that's underrated in terms of team chemistry is players eating in the team dining room together. Do you feel like you saw an increase in players eating together in the team dining room this year than in years past?
Oh, well, with COVID, you can't eat in the dining room, so I don't know how else to answer that question, but it's not possible.
Gotcha.
Okay, next question is Jacob Christner. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yay, how you doing today? Jacob Christner, Sideline Sports.
Doing great, Jacob.
Good. I wanted to ask, I noticed the efficiency of the offense throughout the season, that just how you went out down the field. Did you match that efficiency? Did you bring it out through like training camp, your practices, all that stuff? Did you have an efficiency through all year long? Are you planning things like that all year long, all that kind of stuff?
Well, we put in a lot of work to make sure that we're efficient and we can play big in these moments like this. And so, again, we try not to overcomplicate things later on in the season. It's not a lot of new scheme. It might be some window dressing. It might be a couple new thoughts. But for the most part, these are things that we practiced for, really the better part of 3 years. And so we spend a lot of time in the offseason and training camp honing this stuff. So when you get to these moments that matter, it's things that we've repped over and over and over again. And so I think our players have understand what we're asking of them, understand the basics of our scheme, and it's carried us this far. So we'll continue on with it.
James Palmer, you're next.
Hey, Zac, hope you're doing well. Brian Callahan said yesterday that he really likes, obviously, the game plan you guys have put in place for the Rams. He's not giving anything away, but he also said you've been there, he's been there. There's always adjustments that happen early in a Super Bowl. So how do you go about with a game plan? Do you have extra things just lined up if certain things happen that you'll switch to? How does it go when you get a chance to see how the game's going to start playing out and you need to make those changes?
Yeah, it's not much different than other games that we played. We always have to make adjustments early in the game, at halftime, fourth quarter, whatever it is. And again, we take a lot of pride in being able to do that. It doesn't mean that you're inventing new thoughts. It's maybe you're just shifting to a different part of the call sheet. Things that you've worked maybe recently, maybe you worked it 2 weeks ago, that the players know well, and you didn't spend a lot of time talking about it that week, but you bring them up. But again, with 2 weeks here, I think the point is not to over-prepare, not to put too much in. Try to treat it as best we can as a normal game week, and then just be ready to make the adjustments that we normally have to make over the course of the game.
Laurel Failer, go ahead.
Thank you. I know Jackson Carman was dealing with a back issue last week. Can you provide an update on how he's doing? And then just looking at that right guard position, how would you assess just that competition throughout the year and how it's kind of, I know obviously injuries have kind of played a role in that as well, but how have you seen that evolve throughout the year?
Yeah, Jackson's progressing well. He's better than he was last week, and he and Akeem have really kind of gone back and forth at that guard spot. They've both given us some really good things. They're young players. Their best days are ahead of them. we think both of those guys have been progressing as we had hoped. And so we'll continue to let it play out and see how it shapes out on Sunday.
Next question is Kyle Russo. Go ahead, Kyle.
Zac, in your first 2 years as the Bengals head coach, you had a record of 6-25-1. Talk about this journey of going from the lowest of the lows to now competing for a Lombardi trophy in just year 3.
It's not really a surprise to us. You know, we've spoken about this often over the last 3 years, that there's going to be hard times as you build the foundation of everything that you rest on. And our guys have really bought into that. Some of the pieces who've been here for a long time, some of the newer pieces, they're here for a reason because they love football. And so we knew that was going to really shape us going forward, seeing what was really at the core of people. And we learned a lot about this organization. It's a tremendous organization. They've supported us through thin and now thick, you know, and so it's been a fun process to go through. I'm glad that we went through that, you know, really, because now we appreciate everything that's happening for us right now, because we've seen the worst of things, and now obviously we're seeing the best of things. And I can't think of any better way to go along this journey than the way that we've done it so far.
Next up is Dave Burkett.
Hey, Zac, one of your former colleagues in Miami, Ben Johnson, got the Lions offensive coordinator job officially today. What did you see from him maybe in your time together that let you know he'd be on this track? And if you have an anecdote that you could share that maybe captures that, or his creativity or the contributions he made to those Dolphins team, if you could share that as well.
I've tried to hire Ben many, many, many times, and he always just gets promoted to where I can't get him. So Dan knows that, you know, and you know, I was just trying to find a place for him on staff, whether it's offense, defense, special, it doesn't matter. He's one of those guys you want on your staff because he's a brilliant, I can't even say young anymore. He's not that young anymore, but back when we worked together, we were both pretty young. He's outstanding. You know, he's just really sharp. He's got a mathematics background. He was much smarter than I was in school. He sees things differently. You know, he does a great job with the analytics side of things as well. He's just one of the sharpest football coaches in this league, and he's only going to continue to learn from his experiences. I think Dan knows that, and that's probably why he promoted him, because he knows he's got, you know, one of the best young coaches in the league right there on the staff. Why not promote him and help him call this offense? So really happy for Ben, you know, and I think that's a great move by Dan. He's going to do outstanding things in this league. He's going to continue to grow with his experience as it comes along, like we all have. But again, I can't say enough positive things about Ben Johnson and the role he's going to have there in Detroit.
Jenny Varentis.
Hi, Zac. A lot of teams, including yours, dealt with a spike in COVID cases late in the regular season due to Omicron. The numbers have gone down a lot since then, but what instructions have you given your team, especially in a week like this when there are a lot of events and relatives in town, to stay safe and avoid getting sick before the game?
Yeah, my message to the team has been the most important thing is winning this game on Sunday. And that the parade, I promise you, will be a lot more fun than any event you can go, any dinner you can go to this week. That's not to say that you can't enjoy your time with family and friends where it makes sense. But the reason we're here is because we have a very mature and disciplined team, and they've handled themselves up to this point really well. And I expect they'll do that continuing through Sunday and give us our best chance to win this game as we possibly can.
Susie Calder, you're next.
Hi, Zac. Something I think not many of us expected was the heat on Sunday, and it's early in the week now. What kind of things are you doing or directing the guys just to account for how hot it could potentially be in SoFi on Sunday early evening?
We're hydrating as best we can. You know, it's just like when we deal with the cold, you know, it's going to be really cold in a lot of the games we played. What can you do? You go out there and you manage it the best you can as you practice through the week. We're practicing some pretty good heat right now. I think our guys will do a great job handling it.
Next up is Richard Skinner. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, Zac, a two-part question. I'm just wondering if there was any time in 2019 and 2020 when you doubted yourself as a coach or a play caller, and has this season given you any sense of validation in that regard?
Doubting? No. Hard times? Absolutely. You know, I would be lying if I said that there wasn't times where it really tests you as a person. You know, you wake up when you're 0-9 or 0-10 on a Monday morning on your way to work, and you think, is this really happening? You know, is this, you never envisioned it going like this, and it's hard. But again, I think that's what's shaped us to be the way that we are. We have tremendous character in this building from top to bottom. And so again, looking back on it, wouldn't change anything about the process. Some of the mistakes maybe that I made and we all made have shaped us to become better coaches and better players because we've learned through those experiences. And again, credit to Mike Brown and Paul and Katie and Troy and for having the patience to let us work through some of that stuff and gain that experience to be able to help this team be where we are now. And so, yeah, doubting myself, no. Enduring really hard times, yes. But again, I think it's shaped who we are as a team right now.
Got time for just a couple more questions. Next goes to Jake Silva.
Hey, Coach. Jake Silva from Spotlight Sports Network. Looking at this entire season and the history of the Cincinnati Bengals, the last time this team was in the Super Bowl was the time when it started the Joe Montana era. And here we are to today, you guys representing and the whole state of Ohio all on your guys' shoulders. How, like, approaching this game and from where you guys have reviewed all throughout this year, like, what would be the biggest feeling and moment for you guys taking on the field and what the biggest challenges are against the Rams?
Well, again, we've done our best to treat this like any game we've played all year. And I know that there's media attention, all those things that are going to make it feel a little bit different. But I think that's what's made this team special is the ability to have such a narrow focus and just, you know, do a great job focusing on getting on the field and doing what we do best. I can't remember what the last part of your question was there.
Well, I mean, the one part that I can say too is like, there's no quit in this team. And you know, what has been the secret to that, to continuously playing hard and fighting through to finishing, to getting to the finish line? Like, what was the battle cry throughout this entire playoffs?
Just that we believe in each other and we know we've got a great team. Someone's going to make a play to get us back in it when things look dark. You know, mostly the teams that have success in this league, it's who can handle adversity in December and January. And I think there's been games we've been down 24-0 and we fought back and lost. There's been games we've been down 21-3 and fought back and won. And so there's just a belief that we've kind of seen it all. We've won a lot of different ways. And these guys always know that we're never out of it and no one should ever count us out of it. Certainly we don't want to play from behind anymore. That's not fun. That's not what we want to do. But these guys just have a lot of belief in each other.
Okay, and our last question today goes to Mark Craig. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Zach, I just wondered, coming from the Rams and Sean McVay, what was the number one theme or trait you were looking for when it came time to assemble your coaching staff? Kind of what Kevin O'Connell is going to be going through here next week, starting next month.
Yeah, you certainly, there's an element of people you trust that you've had previous experience working through. I think that's important because it's not going to be easy from the get-go. And so you got to have those people that you can rely on that have your back and will give you hard information sometimes because you need to hear that. At the same time, you really pencil in, it's not necessarily this guy's going to be my tight end coach or this guy's going to be the linebacker coach, but what am I looking for that role? What do I need on that side of the ball? Energy-wise, help with game planning-wise. There's a lot of things that we factor in here on our staff so that you don't necessarily pencil in a person, but more of the type of person you're looking for. And I think we've got a really good balance in a lot of different ways with different personalities on our staff, and that's helped us get to where we are today.